Hey! My man here got jokes. You doing some stuff?
What we want, Gramps.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
You had to do it the hard way.
It's just important. I gotta find Ronaldo.
So you're that badass dude. What type of badass you are?
Don't have to be this way.
Oh yeah, it does.
Hello and welcome to 2.2 Recaps. Today we are going to recap a 2012 movie titled Badass. The film starts with Frank serving his country in Vietnam, a chapter of his life that shapes his character. Upon returning home, he finds out that his fiancée married someone else and started a family, leaving him heartbroken. In an attempt to get his life together, he applies for the police academy, confident that his military background will serve him well. However, Frank witnesses rejection, deepening his sense of disappointment and disillusionment. Struggling to find stable employment, he resorts to selling hot dogs to make ends meet. His situation takes a turn for the worse when a trendy gourmet hot dog truck opens nearby, siphoning off nearly all of his customers. As a result, Frank finds himself without a steady job or home, drifting through life. Fast forward to the present day, Frank witnesses two disruptive youths causing chaos on a bus, even threatening an elderly man.
But now you're wasting my time, see? Chucker.
He steps in to protect the elderly gentleman and confronts the troublemakers.
I don't want any trouble. Leave me alone.
I can eat it.
The act was captured by fellow passengers and quickly shared online, turning Frank into a local hero overnight. His newfound fame brought an outpouring of community support, merchandise featuring his likeness, and even respectful nods from the local police. When Frank and his mother were invited to appear on a televised talk show, his recognition reached an all-time high. Tragically, only 3 months later, Frank's mother passed away, leaving him her house and the family dog. The situation grew more complex when Klondike Washington, a fellow Vietnam veteran and close friend, moved in with Frank. Klondike handed him a USB flash drive intended for his late mother's safe deposit box. Unsure of its contents, Frank secured it in a safe for the time being. One evening, while Klondike was out running an errand, he encountered Terrence and Sebastian, the same two troublemakers who had been hunting for the drive. Klondike cleverly misled them regarding its location, but the confrontation quickly turned violent. The situation spiraled out of control, and Klondike was killed before the assailants fled the scene. Devastated by the loss of his best friend, Frank rushed to the morgue to identify the body. Grieving deeply, Officer Malark, a friend from the police force, visits Frank to assure him that they are working diligently on the case. However, Frank becomes increasingly troubled when he sees on the news that other cases are being resolved much more quickly than Klondike's. Frustrated by what he perceives as negligence from law enforcement, Frank decides to take matters into his own hands to uncover the truth behind his friend's tragic death. Frank embarks on his investigation at the alley where Klondike was tragically shot. As he meticulously searches the scene, he uncovers empty bullet casings and a locket containing a photograph of a woman. Clues he instinctively feels could lead to significant evidence. Determined to follow this lead, Frank takes the bullets and the locket to a local pawn shop. There, the proprietor reveals that the locket belongs to a man named Terrence and contains a picture of Terrence's wife. Armed with this new information, Frank rushes to Terrence's home, only to discover he has been missing for over a week, according to his wife. After returning a locket to her, Frank presses for more information regarding her husband's whereabouts. She mentions that Terrence frequently plays basketball with friends at a nearby park. Without hesitation, Frank heads there and approaches a group of young men in the middle of a game. Instead of offering help, they ridicule him, provoking Frank into a tense confrontation. After asserting himself and silencing their mockery, the group reluctantly admits they don't know where Terrence is, but they suggest that a close friend named Ronaldo might have the answers. Determined, Frank makes his way to Ronaldo's residence. There, a roommate informs him that Ronaldo is currently at a bar across town. When Frank arrives at the venue, he is immediately met with hostility from several patrons. Refusing to back down, he asserts his presence and commands respect from the crowd.
All right, amigo, come down.
He eventually tracks down Ronaldo and employs intimidation tactics to extract the truth. Under pressure, Ronaldo finally cracks, revealing that Terrence is involved with a woman named Tanya. Meanwhile, we shift our focus to a notorious gangster known as Panther, who oversees both Terrence and Sebastian, two individuals notorious for their troublemaking. Panther is engaged in a tense conversation with Mayor Williams, the corrupt mayor of the town, who is pressuring Panther to locate the flash drive that Klondike had stolen. This flash drive contains incriminating evidence of the mayor's illicit activities during his time in office. Klondike, having worked for Panther, made a bold move by stealing this crucial flash drive before deciding to leave his position. Desperate to uncover the contents of the flash drive, Frank enlists the help of his neighbor, a resourceful young man named Martin. One evening, Frank visits Tanya, who works at a massage establishment, hoping to gather more information about Terrence. When Tanya proves uncooperative, Frank decides to discreetly follow her home from work. After stealthily entering her residence, he ultimately finds Terrence hiding inside. In an effort to extract information about who ordered the hit on Klondike, Frank resorts to intimidation tactics. When Terrence remains tight-lipped, Frank escalates the situation by applying pressure, causing palpable discomfort. This aggressive approach finally breaks through Terrence's defenses, leading him to reveal vital information. Klondike had become entangled with the dangerous drug lord known as Panther. He had stolen the flash drive previously mentioned, which held sensitive information concerning plans for an oil well tied to Mayor Williams. In a surprising turn, Terrence also discloses Panther's whereabouts to Frank. Before confronting this dangerous figure, Frank returns home to prepare for the impending showdown but is soon interrupted by a commotion at Martin's residence. He discovers that Amber, Martin's mother, is in distress due to her abusive husband. Frank steps in to help her, showcasing his bravery and compassion. Grateful for his intervention, Amber invites Frank to lunch as a token of appreciation. Recognizing the significance of the moment, he dresses sharply and presents himself with care. During their meal, an intimate moment arises between them, but their connection is abruptly disrupted when Martin Jr. unexpectedly walks in. Frank insists that Amber and Martin stay at his home until he can fix her front door. The next day, Frank delivers the flash drive to Officer Malark before tracking Panther to his hideout. Anticipating Frank's arrival, Panther orders his crew to ambush him if he shows up without the valuable drive. A perilous confrontation ensues, ending with Panther's gang overpowering and capturing Frank. In a desperate attempt to extract the drive's location, they resort to torture, using an electric shock device. Despite enduring excruciating pain, Frank exhibits extraordinary resilience and refuses to speak. Frustrated by the silence, Panther rummages through Frank's wallet and finds his home address, speculating that the flash drive might be hidden there with his loved ones. Leaving his men to continue the brutal assault, Panther rushes to Frank's home. Meanwhile, Frank uses a match he took from Amber to stage a clever escape. He ignites nearby oil drums, triggering a massive fire and a series of explosions. As chaos erupts, Panther attempts to flee, but Frank is determined not to let him slip away. A high-stakes chase begins as they both commandeer buses, weaving through the city in a final, desperate pursuit.
Sorry, I'm out of tape!
Eventually, both buses crash, but Frank refuses to give up and continues pursuing Panther on foot. During his chase, he encounters two troublemakers from the earlier bus incident who try to film themselves attacking him. Once again asserting his dominance, Frank brushes them aside and presses on after Panther. When Panther reaches Frank's house, he finds Amber and threatens her life unless Frank reveals the flash drive's location. Just in time, Frank arrives to rescue Amber, leading to a fierce confrontation that spills into the front yard. As Panther prepares to strike again, Amber bravely leaps onto his back, giving Frank the opening he needs to finally subdue Panther. Law enforcement arrives and apprehends Panther, while the situation escalates further when Major Williams is arrested as media revelations expose their corrupt dealings. In the aftermath of these events, Frank, Amber, and Martin find solace and happiness together, emerging stronger from their harrowing experiences. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss more amazing movie recaps from 2.2 Recaps.